Virtual Care Options. Sounds like a very convenient option to be able to receive care from home when you're not feeling well. What can you tell us about virtual visits?
For a minor issue, you can actually go to different options such as same-day care options like urgent care or fast care.
It's freighter.com/same-day if you want to check that out. And you mentioned, Doctor, virtual care options. Sounds like a very convenient option to be able to receive care from home when you're not feeling well. What can you tell us about virtual visits?
Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin has many virtual options. Basically, a virtual visit is a visit which is a live visit with the primary care provider where you log on using the MyChart app and you're able to talk to your provider one-on-one. They're able to ask you the exact same questions they could in the office. However, you're able to do it in the comfort of your own home, which can be very convenient if you're not feeling well, don't feel up to the drive to the office itself.
So if someone's interested in scheduling that virtual visit, how can they go about doing so?
The easiest way is go to the Freighter and Medical College of Wisconsin app or MyChart app, where you can actually go and schedule a virtual appointment. That's the same app you can use to look at different test results, request prescription renewals, and view your EHR or electronic health record. You can also send messages to your health team directly through that app.
Great information. Dr. Agarwal, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
I'm Dave Sager. I'm the chairman of Bethlehem Evangelical Lutheran Church and School. In 1998, we made a decision to buy some property in Germantown. It was always the mindset, someday we would build a church on that property. Horicon Bank bent over backwards for us repeatedly. I can't tell you how many times I reached out to Michelle on a Saturday, on a Sunday. Can you help me out? And it would not be possible without Horicon Bank and Catalyst Construction. Just amazing individuals, and it's all family.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, October 16th. Your top story, the race for the nation's highest office, too close to call.
I'm Jessica Ty. It's a local art scene takeover.
Warming up a little bit today after that frost from overnight. Sunny conditions this afternoon and a high of 56. Clearing chilly tonight. More frost in the forecast, a low of 32. Sunny and nice on Thursday with a high of 64. 48 and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:02 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom. The trial for a man from Greenfield accused of killing his infant daughter is now underway. 55-year-old Roger Schrader, who used to perform as Silly the Clown, was the last person seen with his daughter before a 911 call was made. First responders say the 7-week-old was found unresponsive inside the family's apartment in Greenfield back in 1991. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner found Catherine Schrader. She had died from blunt force trauma. Schrader was charged with homicide shortly after.
Among those who took the stand already, former Greenfield Fire Chief Gary Bauer, who responded to the 911 call.
The blood pressure, we could not obtain a blood pressure, could not obtain a pulse, and the person was not breathing.
The trial is expected to continue into next week.
Decision Wisconsin, a new Marquette Law poll national survey is out this morning. It finds that Vice President Kamala Harris leads former President Donald Trump 48 to 47% among likely voters, 4% saying they would vote for someone else. When asked if they had to vote for Harris or Trump, the poll was 50-50.
Milwaukee Public Schools will receive $587 million in general aid for the 2024-2025 school year. That's about $8 million less than what the district estimated in its proposed budget. Last year, MPS received almost $50 million more in funding. An amended budget will be brought forward to the Board of School Directors on October 29th.
And the WIAA ruling that both Bayview and Pulaski High School must forfeit all of their games this season after district administrators failed to submit the proper paperwork to change conferences. 4 members of the Milwaukee Common Council issued a statement criticizing the office's commissioner, Bobby Kelsey. In addition to forfeiting the games, both schools have been banned from the playoffs for 2 years.
Gallery Night MKE is back this weekend.
Nearly 80 venues are participating. One strategy to maximize your time is to choose a neighborhood.
Generally, if you choose one specific area, there will be some density there, so you can make sure that you're hitting a variety of different galleries and pop-up venues.
Jordan Deschambre is the Historic Third Ward Association Marketing and Communications Director. She tells WTMJ that Gallery Night is not only for those looking to purchase expensive art.
There are also people who have never actually had an appreciation for art or want to learn more about it, who are out there and discovering.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Christmas colors here. That means mixed results. The Dow currently up about 231 points at 42,971. NASDAQ off about 15 points today at 18,300. S&P 500 bouncing back and forth. Currently up about 7 points at 58.23. Financial planning at every level. It's Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
We have a new kicker. Again. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
Hey, remember, Sweetest Day is almost here. It's Saturday, October 19th. Think about how much your sweetheart means to you. WTMJ's John Merck here. I've got a great idea. Take the love of your life to the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford, the most affordable Sweetest Day dining destination. You're going to have a blast. Your Sweetest Day steak dinner is just $19.95. That's crazy. Seriously. $19.95. Prime rib is under $25. Or enjoy your favorite Italian, Mexican, a big juicy burger, a fresh salad. You can relax with a cold brew, an old fashioned, a bourbon, or a glass of your favorite wine. It's a perfect Sweetest Day dinner. The Mine Shaft, great locations, beautiful downtown Hartford, and just off Highway 41 in Oshkosh, right near EAA. Lots of seating, close parking, it's easy, and your Sweetest Day steak dinner is under $20. Desserts are buy one, get one free. I love that. You don't have to overpay for your Sweetest Day dinner at the Mine Shaft. It's going to be a special night. Make a quick call. Reserve your table today. The Mine Shaft.
Questions you might hear a lot this fall. Will my team make the playoffs? How much snow are we getting this winter? And whatever happened to Tammy Baldwin? After 25 years in D.C., Baldwin sides with the extreme left. Baldwin voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID relief money to criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. That's nuts. And she supports forcing women's domestic violence shelters to admit biological men who claim to be women. Baldwin even backed puberty blockers and sex change surgeries for minor children in Wisconsin. So here's one more question. Now that Baldwin's gone so far left, why should we keep her in the Senate? It's time to replace Tammy Baldwin. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Well, things move fast in the NFL. On Monday, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur had this to say about the kicking situation in Green Bay.
Considering a move this week at kicker?
I wouldn't say that right now.
Okay. Well, today, the Packers signed veteran Brandon McManus to replace struggling rookie Braden Narveson. McManus was released by the Commanders after 2 women filed sexual assault charges against him prior to the season beginning. McManus calls the allegations false. The NFL is citing insufficient evidence in its investigation of the situation. Meanwhile, former Packers kicker Anders Carlson signs with the San Francisco 49ers.
Beep, beep. Let's take you out to the roads, get you an update with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Not too bad out there. We do have one incident, 4145 north at the ramp from Blue Mound Road. Right shoulder is blocked right now due to a car that's broken down, but it's not causing too many problems, and that's all we have. We'll keep our fingers crossed it stays that way.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. For convenient car shopping and financing, visit Heiser Automotive Group at one of their 4 locations, Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Or visit Heiser.com because today's your day.
Sunny conditions today, a high of 56. Slight warm-up from a day ago. It's going to be chilly again tonight, however. May need to cover the plants. Low of 32. Sunny and nice on Thursday with a high of 64. A little warmer on Friday. Sunny with a high of 68. Saturday and Sunday, both in the low 70s under mostly sunny skies. 48 and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Did you pull your peppers in last night? You didn't forget, did you?
I thought you were going to ask if I got the floss I needed.
Oh.
I'm glad you didn't ask that, but now I just spilled the beans.
Okay, well, yeah, you had a piece of orange stuck in your tooth pre-show here,
Gosh,
and we were trying to get Gina to pick it out.
Spill the secrets.
Well, you
Gross,
spilled
Greg.
that one
We were
yourself.
not.
Are your peppers okay? I've been thinking about this all day.
The peppers are okay. I pulled them in 2 nights ago just to be safe, but I did not end up making the hot sauce last night. So tonight, the hot sauce. And I did share my hot sauce recipe with a couple of fans as well.
I saw that hit the text line here. What is that hot sauce recipe? And you gladly responded.
Yeah,
I thought that was
okay.
nice.
I mean, I didn't give exactly what I do, but I gave the base.
Yeah.
So, you got to personalize
All
a
good.
little bit.
I covered my mums last night.
You did.
And that is
So
not a
they're
metaphor.
safe.
They are safe. It's 11:10 on WTMJ.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, the Vice President of the United States spends the night in Milwaukee tonight. Kamala Harris makes her way back to Bruce City ahead of her campaign stops in Wisconsin tomorrow. She has 2 rallies planned. The first is in La Crosse tomorrow afternoon, the second in Green Bay tomorrow night. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump will be in South Florida today. He has a town hall with Latino voters.
Well, good news from the International Energy Agency. Oil and natural gas prices will probably decline over the next 5 years after soaring back in 2022. It could mean a break in your heating bill. The National Energy Assistance Directors Association projects that natural gas prices will decrease by about 7.8% compared to last winter. It's kind of a wash here in Wisconsin. If you remember, We Energies proposed about an 8.5% rate hike for 2025. So these could sort of cancel each other's out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, yes, please, get those bills down. Oh, wait, the hike.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come out even.
It could go up again in 2026 as well. Oil and natural gas supplies are expected to increase the second half of this decade. This, of course, looking ahead to the conflict here in the Middle East and Russia's war in Ukraine, that could derail trends for sure. In fact, the war in Ukraine is what caused rates to jump to begin with back in 2022.
Number 3, a what was caught where? And it's coming here? A large endangered cat, typically found in parts of Asia or Africa, was caught after going on the run through the Chicago suburb of Hoffman Estates. Now the caracal is headed here to Wisconsin. ABC's Rob Hughes says the big cat was cornered under a woman's front porch.
It took about a dozen officers more than 2 hours to finally corner this felonious feline. But once they did, it was all over. This cat is in custody and headed to a sanctuary for exotic animals in Wisconsin.
Okay, so this animal is going to Valley of the Kings Sanctuary and Retreat in Sharon, Wisconsin, in Walworth County. The founder, Jill Carnegie, says the animal can be extremely dangerous.
They can kill a small child, they can kill your cats, they can kill your dogs, and usually as they grow and if they're aggressive, people can't handle them and so they dump them.
Yeah, experts think that's what happened in this case. It was likely someone's pet, but got dumped.
I had never heard of a caracal. It looks like a mini bobcat.
It is really cool looking.
It definitely is. Got very pointy ears and sort of a bobcat face. A little smaller. I guess it gets up to, maybe 35, 40 pounds at max. But certainly aggressive enough to cause a little angst if you see one on your porch.
The ears are fantastic. It's a little exotic looking, but I don't look at this animal and think, oh yeah, I want to bring it home.
No, it'll rip your face off.
Yikes. But it's going to find a safe home here in Wisconsin now.
That is good news. 11:13 on WTMJ. Less than 3 weeks away from the election. We know Florida is dealing with all sorts of rescue and recovery efforts. Well, that also continues in the western part of North Carolina, where they are not used to seeing what they saw with Hurricane Helene. So what does it mean for polling places, election workers, and conducting a fair election as planned before the storms? A very interesting story. We'll cover it after this.
Throughout history, some people have been born into greatness because of their name or family. Others gained greatness because of their actions. On Wisconsin's Morning News, we celebrate everyday heroes, the John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they woke up one morning they'd be saving a life. Everyday Heroes, Thursday at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, thanks, Eric. Did you make it through the deep freeze last night? Maybe you noticed a little condensation on the inside of the windows or a door. That's not good. If you got an issue, you call Siding Unlimited. Greg Matzik here for the best defensive coat you can put into the game. For your home, that is. It's Siding Unlimited. They do everything possible to beautify your home's exterior, giving it a modern, fresh touch, but also protecting it against what the wicked winter weather brings. Doors, roofing, siding, windows, decking projects, outdoor kitchens, pergolas, you name it. Think of a way to beautify your home's exterior, and Siding Unlimited is the place to call. It's Siding Unlimited, family-owned business located in Brookfield. They got a great showroom. You'll see some of those great products I've talked about over the years, Pella windows, LP Smart Side siding, and so on, all right there in their showroom on display for you. You'll get a good idea for how those products would look if installed at your house. It's a cool place, fun to stop by. It's Siding Unlimited. Visit them online at sidingunlimited.com.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has made wishes come true for over 6 decades. Toyland is now open, and we have unbeatable celebration savings throughout the store. Like select Nerf N-Series blasters, just $29.99. Easy Heat fuel pellets, $4.99. Rewards members pay $4.69. And 1-pound bags of Blaine's brand jelly slices, $1.89 each. Plus, make your holiday wish list on the Farm and Fleet app for a chance to win up to $1,000. Don't miss Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland celebration. Going on now.
Sunny but cool today, a high of about 56 degrees. Freeze back in the forecast tonight, a low of 32, right on the borderline there. Tomorrow the sun returns, temperatures warm up a little bit into the low 60s. 64 we'll call it as a high. Back into the 70s for the weekend. A lot of sun, no rain in the forecast for the next several days. 48 and sunny in Milwaukee, approaching 11:16. Well, the race is on. The campaign trail remains hot with former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris crisscrossing the country. Battleground states certainly in focus, and early voting is now underway in Georgia. In fact, they had record turnout yesterday, as a matter of fact, on day one of early voting. The fact that they're able to vote early is a good thing. That means they're kind of working their way through some of the destruction from the recent hurricanes. What about Florida and North Carolina specifically, however? How are officials scrambling to make sure that Election Day goes off without a hitch? We welcome in from ABC. It's Peter Haralambous. Peter, first of all, do we know which states have been most impacted by the hurricanes and might be scrambling to get things together?
Yeah, it seems like the western counties of North Carolina have really bore the brunt of these storms, particularly Helene. I've spoken to election directors throughout a lot of those rural counties, and they're struggling in a way. Some of those counties have had to relocate a majority of their polling places. There's been nearly a dozen instances where polling places have been damaged. Some of them have been washed away by floodwaters, forcing local election officials to scramble in the weeks before the election to find new polling places, send out new absentee ballots, and make sure that every vote will be counted in that critical swing state.
When we talk about physical infrastructure damage, I think that's what people think of first. All the buildings that in some cases are damaged or in other cases completely washed away. But are there other concerns too, like voter displacement and heightened misinformation now?
Yeah, that's a great point, because yes, the infrastructure damage is bad. There's also the separate issue of the fact that a lot of polling places are being used for the emergency response. They're being used as shelters or aid distribution centers. So that knocks out some from being used. But in addition to those challenges, you have election officials dealing with threats and misinformation about the storm response. We saw that impact FEMA aid during a briefing yesterday. The head of the North Carolina Board of Elections raised concerns about an increase in vitriol directed at election workers, which doesn't help when you have all these challenges associated with administering this election. In terms of absentee ballots, it's hard to find displaced voters, and there are even minor issues. For example, with power out and high humidity in the region, a lot of absentee ballots have had to be thrown out because basically the return envelopes have sealed themselves shut with that high level of humidity, basically forcing folks to re-request their ballots increasing this kind of scramble in the days and weeks before the election.
That is so fascinating about the envelopes kind of sealing themselves. And I think about our snowbirds here, too. I've heard from a couple people who are down in the Florida area during the winter who are saying, I hope my mail-in ballot gets here. I hope my absentee ballot makes it to Wisconsin. I wonder what the advice is for those people. Should they be bothering and calling down there to make sure?
Yeah, so the election officials I've spoken to have encouraged folks, don't be afraid to re-request your ballot, especially if you've been displaced. For example, in Yancey County, North Carolina, this is a rural county with a few thousand voters in it. This is a small election office, just 2 people. They've had to relocate a majority of their polling places. 2 of their polling places washed away. And now this small election office in rural North Carolina is dealing with this new challenge of sending out absentee ballots to voters across the country, to the displaced voters in their area. But despite that challenge, they were insistent when talking with us, insisting, if you're a member of their community and you need a ballot, don't be afraid to ask for one, even if you've already requested it. They just want to make sure folks have options and that their votes will be counted, even if it means re-requesting a ballot.
Yeah, but best to take matters into your own hands than to just shrug your shoulders, I suppose. I even saw a note from the Pennsylvania State Department the other day saying due to humidity in much of the state of Pennsylvania, some voters are finding their mail-in ballots have the return envelope already sealed. So you talk about humidity and some of the issues in states affected by the hurricane. It's extended to a very key battleground state in Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah, and again, these are states with very tight margins. A few thousand votes could swing the election. And in North Carolina, this seems to be a little bit of a concern within the Trump campaign. They've called for increased measures to ensure ballot access. And it's interesting, if you look at the 25 counties that have actually been declared disaster areas in North Carolina, they overwhelmingly voted for Trump. 62% of the votes in that region went to Trump in 2020. Only 37% went to Biden. So this is a concern. They're calling for increased measures, though the State Board of Elections has already passed a series of measures that increases access to the ballot and gives election workers more flexibility.
I wonder if there's a challenge to some people are going to vote no matter what. They understand how important it is no matter what election is, especially this one when it's so close. But I would think it'd be a challenge to encourage some people, some voters to vote when they are dealing with getting their lives back together because maybe their homes were destroyed, or in some cases, they're mourning the loss of loved ones.
Yeah, it's hard to make it a priority at times when you're dealing with all of those separate issues. But election officials and the folks in the community we've spoken with, while they're sad about the loss of life and the loss of property in these areas, they're looking forward to rebuilding. And part of that process is kind of continuing with the tradition here of voting. For example, I was speaking to a small community called North Fork, North Carolina. This is a community that was telling me all about their famous voting house. It's been there for nearly a century. It was a small cinder block building that was right beside the river where for generations people came to vote. And unfortunately, during the storms, the river swelled and completely destroyed the cinder block structure. The roof of the building was found 500 yards away. Cinder blocks litter the side of the river. And while the local community members I spoke to were sad about the loss, were going to miss that tradition, all of them were insistent that they were looking forward to the future. They were looking forward to making sure that there's a new polling place and that come election day, those traditions, those values associated with voting continue on, and people will be able to cast their ballots.
When you talk about looking towards the future, I was also thinking about the past a little bit. Like if we go back to, say, Hurricane Sandy back in 2012, I don't even know, was early voting even a thing? I mean, we kind of have come a long way. There are so many challenges right now, but since the pandemic, we've learned some lessons, and there are more ways to vote than there were for previous hurricanes.
Yeah, and certainly with after the 2020 election where you saw the explosion in the use of absentee ballots, there are more options for folks. And early voting matters a lot. In North Carolina, more than 60% of voters cast their ballot during early in-person voting.
Wow.
So at least there are more options on the table for these folks as they kind of struggle to piece their lives together in some of the areas hardest hit by Helene.
ABC's Peter Haralambos, we appreciate your time, Peter. Great insight.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Yep, you bet. Peter Haralambos joining us. Coming up on the other side, what's big and orange and gained 50 pounds a day? for multiple days.
50 pounds a day?
We'll explain after this.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it is back, and you are ready for this, right? The Sidex Creepiest Bathroom Contest. Remember doing this last year? Well, it is back thanks to our good friends at Sidex, and you play a role in it. If you got a nasty tub or shower, take a picture of it and text the word creepy to our talk and text line at 855-616-1620, and you get your information sent to your mobile device. You'll be entered to win a tub or shower conversion courtesy of Sidex, valued at up to $10,000. So again, take a picture of your shower in tub space, text the word creepy to the WTMJ talk and text line at 855-616-1620. And you could win that full conversion from Sidex. The Sidex Creepiest Bathroom Contest is here. For contest rules, check out our website at WTMJ.com. If your bathroom's not all that creepy or old, it's okay. You might still be in the market for a new tub or shower. Send a picture anyway, and we'll have some fun with it. It's the Sidex Creepiest Bathroom Contest.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money, too. That's ACCUNET.com.
Well, Wisconsin has a new state record, Jessica. I'm very excited about this.
All right, what is it? It's something big.
Record for the largest pumpkin ever grown in the state of Wisconsin. Congratulations to Fond du Lac's Jim Ford, who grew a 2,551-pound giant pumpkin. At its peak, the pumpkin was growing at a rate of 50 pounds per day.
I didn't even know that was possible.
That is
50
insane.
pounds a day?
What else could possibly gain 50 pounds in a day? Don't answer that.
I hope he had like a GoPro camera or something, like and speeding it up to have video of that, because I would like to see how much you can tell. Like 50 pounds a day, that seems so significant.
So the Wisconsin Giant Pumpkin Growers, it's a thing, first
An
of all.
association?
They've been recording data since 1983, and back then, the record was just 271 pounds. So Jim Ford of Fond du Lac has been awarded the coveted Pumpkin Belt, which is given to the grower of the largest pumpkin in the state. Well, this one set a record at 2,551 pounds. So it's on display in the dude's yard, and he's got mums around it. It's sort of the centerpiece of his fall decoration.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
wouldn't you have that? But what do you do with it when it's done? You have to saw it in half or in thirds or fifths or tenths and kind of piece by piece get rid of it?
I also wonder, like, are the seeds still really good? Is the pumpkin yummy? Like, could you make a pumpkin pie? Could you bake the seeds? Or does something that big look really cool but not taste as great inside?
You could make a house out of it, right? And just clear out the inside and live in it.
That's a cool idea. That would be something the kids would like to jump into for Halloween.
That is massive.
You might be slimy, though, coming out. What did Mr. Ford from Fond du Lac put in the soil to grow a baby that big?
All right, so that's what I'm wondering here, because we tried to grow a pumpkin back in the day at the Matzik residence.
You did.
And the pumpkin vine just sort of takes over everything. You have to have a kind of a dedicated space, but that was for like a 8-pound pumpkin. This is over 25, this is like a ton. I can only imagine the vining and like the space you would need to even grow this.
My aunt and uncle out in the burbs have a pumpkin patch. just in the backyard of their house, and it's lovely. It's great, and they grow a ton of pumpkins. I mean, it's not something like they're selling. It's just for them and family and neighbors and whatnot, but yeah, nothing that big.
Well, congratulations to Mr. Ford from Fond du Lac with his 2,500-pound pumpkin. Good
You
stuff
win,
from
Mr. Ford.
James Groh from our friends at TMJ4 for covering that story. The news is next.
It's bird bashing season when you swoop into Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to a wicked 50 grand cash in the Bird Bash Game Show. Just play with your rewards card all October for entries. All Bird Bash entries go towards a December 20th giveaway with a monstrous 300 grand in prizes. Bird Bash makes its bewitching return. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
You know, I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
You know, I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move, move, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Dan, I love what we do at Inspired Closets.
Can you count the ways?
First of all, we're 100% locally owned, helping families in southeast Wisconsin calm the chaos and eliminate stress. We're not a franchise. And our lifetime warranty and price match guarantee.
Yes, Katie. Milwaukee homeowners have trusted the Anheuser family for 55 years for our commitment to quality, service, and competitive prices.
And we get to work together.
Yeah, that too. Buy local and save money today. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
A wife and husband team.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Tuesday, October 16th. Your top story, we're up and going vertical.
I'm Jessica Ty. An arrest made following a storm photo that went viral.
Sunny today, a high of 56. Chilly tonight. Frost inland at a low of 32. Sunny and nice on Thursday with a high of 64. No rain in the forecast through the weekend. In fact, we get back into the 70s on Saturday and Sunday. 50 and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:31 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom. Milwaukee police searching for a critically missing 15-year-old girl. MPD says Jenna Fossel was last seen around midnight near 96th and Silver Spring on Milwaukee's north side. The girl was last seen wearing a gray jacket, black jogging pants, and black shoes. A news release said she is about 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighing about 190 pounds, with black hair worn in a ponytail.
Decision Wisconsin. A new Marquette Law School poll national survey is out this morning, and it shows an extremely tight race. It finds Vice President Kamala Harris leads former President Donald Trump 48 to 47% among likely voters. 4% of people polled said they'd vote for someone else. Now listen to this. When those people were asked if they had to vote for Harris or Trump, the poll was 50-50.
Wisconsin, one of a few key swing states heading into the November election, which means politicians of every ilk are making it a point to visit the Badger State on the regular, while candidates visiting Wisconsin and Milwaukee specifically. Nothing really new here. When it's the sitting vice president, let's just say there might be some extra inconveniences.
With Vice President Harris's campaigning in Milwaukee, you'll want to be aware of some roads around the airport getting tied up. As she travels around the city, just remember there'll be the typical rolling closures of the area roadways as well as on and off ramps. They usually move through the area pretty quickly, so it shouldn't throw your commute off that much. She'll be leaving the area sometime tomorrow afternoon. Debbie Laziga, WTMJ News.
As FEMA works to fight misinformation that's hampering its efforts to help the victims of our recent hurricanes, social media is blazing with AI-generated pictures related to the storms. ABC's Jim Ryan reports.
The motivation for the fake images of former President Trump trudging through waist-high floodwaters in Georgia or of Disney World inundated by Hurricane Milton isn't clear, but the source of some of the images is troubling. Pictures of a flooded Cinderella's castle were, if not created by, then at least amplified by Russian state media.
One of the most troubling and infuriating images to come out of Hurricane Milton involved a dog tied up to a fence and then abandoned. Police in Florida now say the pet's owner, Giovanni Aldama Garcia, could be hit with animal cruelty charges. The dog was rescued. He's been renamed and put up for adoption.
Up and going vertical.
Bucks President Peter Feigin today announcing the next phase of the Deer District, breaking ground on a new music venue on the site of the former Bradley Center. Frank Productions President Joe Plant.
This nearly $70 million project is one of the largest private investments in Milwaukee's entertainment scene, and it will be a catalyst for more development downtown and through the city.
Plant says the 4,500-seat venue could open late next year.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Numbness, tingling in the hands, arms, legs, feet. Time to go see Dr. Alex Young and my team at Connect Chiropractic. Regular chiropractic care can bring life-changing results for folks who suffer from neuropathy and fibromyalgia, nervous system issues that can be corrected. And no worries about twisting, cracking, or popping. The docs at Connect Chiro use all the same method, a special tool that is pain-free and effective for your adjustments. Visit them in Delafield and Wauwatosa or get started online at GoConnectChiro.com.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I at least like to think I'm an expert when it comes to football, but I know Excel are truly experts when it comes to the art of deck building. With the finest materials and products combined with their superior craftsmanship, they'll deliver exceptional quality and value on everything from backyard decks to pergolas and outdoor kitchens. If you can dream it, Rob and his family can build it. Family-owned Excel Custom Decks delivers decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com to learn more.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Packers have another kicker, upgrading their special teams unit. Today, officially signing kicker Brandon McManus. McManus will replace the struggling rookie Braden Narveson, who has since been released. McManus was released by the Commanders after two women filed sexual assault charges against him. He's calling those allegations false. The NFL is citing, quote, insufficient evidence in its investigation of the situation. Meanwhile, former Packers kicker Anders Carlson signs with the San Francisco 49ers.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're not doing too bad on the roads right now. No big crashes to let you know about. We do have a couple disabled vehicles I'll give you a heads up on. 4145 north beyond the ramp from North Avenue. Right shoulder is blocked right now due to a disabled vehicle. Also, 4394 north at the ramp from Holt Avenue. Right lane is blocked due to a fire. You got a car fire there. It doesn't look like it's too bad right now. I don't see any flames, not a lot of smoke, but I'll keep an eye on that and let you know if that changes. Oh, great. Change right now. Next camera.
Is everything okay?
Lots of smoke. But traffic is still moving along. It looks like fire trucks just got there.
Should we have our guest do the weather?
Ooh,
hey, maybe just let's
do
not
that.
Introduce our guest, but see if people can recognize her voice.
Recognize the voice.
Gina, can we turn on her microphone? Let's get that cranked on. Turn it on. There's a forecast right in front of you. Would you like to try the weather?
Hey, I'll do the weather.
Okay.
I can take it away.
All right, go for it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday. It is a beautiful, sunshiny fall day. Lots of sunshine out there, but, a little bit cooler. We're dealing with the fall-like temperatures now, but don't worry. We have a warm-up on the way for the weekend with tons more sunshine, so enjoy.
Sounds like a pro to me. You're hired. Welcome to the studio. Did you recognize that voice? Stephanie Grady, longtime news anchor for Fox 6, got so sick of working with Tim Van Voren that she has decided to leave the business altogether.
Never. He is such a pro. Love him to death.
I was actually thinking about Ted Perry. I was like, how do you believe Ted Perry and Ben Handelman.
Oh, don't worry. They both cried yesterday.
I believe it.
They'll kill me for saying that.
Well, for those who were paying attention to Fox 6 last night, you may have seen the news or heard the news, maybe even prior to last night, that Stephanie Grady, longtime anchor for Fox 6, is stepping away. Before we get into our new venture, can you reflect on nearly 20 years in Milwaukee at Fox 6 and doing the work you've been doing?
Yeah, it's been quite the career so far. I mean, this was my dream out of school. I went to Penn State. I launched a television show when I was at Penn State, got right into television, kind of bouncing around all over the country, like us TV people do, leaving all of our friends and family to go, meet random people in random cities. We ended up in Milwaukee 10 years ago, and it honestly has been such a dream of mine. And we plan on being here for 3 years. But now 3 children later and having such great management and just, they took care of me at Fox 6. They really, really did. And it was so sad to leave because at the end of the day, I love TV, but it's the people that really hold you there. And so to leave all of those friendships, to leave that TV family of mine was a hard thing to do. But I know that I have more to give to the world. And so we are ready to close the chapter on TV and open a chapter on something brand new.
I get the goosebumps when you say that because I know that very well, especially doing TV in Milwaukee for almost 10 years. But there was something that was kind of nagging at you, right? You have another passion deep down. So tell us about this new venture and what you're diving into. This is ultimately day one of a big new chapter.
Oh, it is day one, yes. And we are off and running now. So I was a former athlete. I was a former figure skater for many, many years until I got injured and couldn't do it anymore. And my husband comes from a background of athletic administration. He was the athletic director at Dominican High School in Whitefish Bay for many, many years. And this company has been really just been a marriage of both of our expertises. And so it's called Influential Athlete. And what we're looking to do is serve elite female athletes, student athletes in the whole new name, image, and likeness space. So for those who are like, wait, what is that? What's NIL? I hear about this. I see these big deals with Nike. The Supreme Court allowed 3 years ago in July of 2021 athletes to finally monetize their name, image, and likeness without losing NCAA eligibility. And so what that means is that athletes can go out there and they can make money without losing their eligibility. And so what we do, we're not an agency. We're not Jerry Maguire where we're connecting athletes and brands and making the deals.
You're not going to be saying, show me the money.
Show me the money. I mean, I will, but maybe in a different capacity. What we do is we teach these student athletes the skill sets they need that they haven't learned yet because they're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. We teach them how to develop and create their unique personal brand. How do they stand out from the thousands of other amazing athletes across the country, right? How do they find businesses that then align with that authentic personal brand? How do they communicate effectively? How do they give impactful interviews? They're not just blasé. How do they navigate really sensitive topics when it comes to interviews, post-game, post-tournament? And then we teach them how to utilize their platform that they have as an elite athlete, which is an amazing thing, right? They have something special about them that makes them a superstar in their own right. How to use that to really give back to their community, whether it's hosting camps or clinics for underprivileged kids in their community, whether it is working with local food kitchens and other nonprofit organizations that they can just utilize their name to get more eyeballs there, to get stories done about them, just bring more attention to the need within their own communities. And so it's kind of a marriage of all of those. Our company goes through 4 phases through our signature program, and we talk all about foundational knowledge of NIL, right? What it is, how did we get here? How do you navigate it with still staying compliant, rules, regulations, all that sort of stuff. Then we talk about personal branding, how to surround yourself with the right people that are really going to help get you to where you go. How to have a unbelievable personal presence, be charismatic, speak effectively, how to utilize your body language in order to really elevate your message. And then finally, how to pitch yourself to businesses and how to really get deals done.
And this is just day one because it sounds like you've been doing this for 10 years. It sounds like this business has been in company for 10 years. Kudos to you for that.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been, we've been building this for quite some time in the background, knowing that we wanted to do something. I've always been very entrepreneurial, so has my husband. And this is what sticks.
You kind of went through an age range, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's an obvious bridge from high school to college there. Yeah. So are you kind of focused on all the above, maybe the student athletes who's in college and maybe not breaking through, and also perhaps the high school athlete who has a choice to make at which college to go to and the right questions to ask when it comes to NIL? Is it sort of all-encompassing that high school and college athlete for you?
It is, and they're kind of at different levels, right? So you have a lot of high schoolers that are wondering, am I going to go D1, D2, maybe D3 is the option for me. Maybe my playing career comes to an end after high school, right? And so we work with all levels, and we've been beta testing athletes through our signature program, D1, D2, D3, and high school. Don't think it's just the D1 athletes that are getting these deals, because that couldn't be further from the truth. So many D3 athletes are really monetizing and finding opportunities, and we teach them how to do that. And so when it comes to high schoolers, they're at a different maturity level, right? I mean, they have that much less experience than, say, a 20-year-old does in college. And so we teach them, look, you're going to be going through the recruitment process. You're going to be speaking to a lot of different ADs and coaches at universities. So we teach NIL, but in reality, we're teaching them how to have those conversations, to leave a lasting impact, just like they'll do when they're 25 trying to get their first job, right? And so it's kind of these skill sets that we teach that, yes, are going to help them within whatever chapter they're in today, monetize their NIL, help get recruited, help interview during that whole process. But we're teaching them these professional and personal skills that are really going to serve them for the rest of their life. As parents, we know that, right? I have 3 young kids, and, I'm like, is my kid too young? He's 10 years old. Can I put them through this? Yeah, I think it might be a little over his head. But, we teach skills that are going to serve them at every level that they're at.
You kind of talked about the beta testing, and I'm wondering, I feel like the newsie in you would be watching some stories or watching, this female athlete go in here and what she's doing and kind of be thinking about your business. So are you already working with some student athletes, or are you looking right now to recruit some and reel some in?
So we're absolutely recruiting athletes, but we wanted to make sure that when we came to market today, which is when the company launches, that we have something that really is not only driving results, but provides incredible value, right? Is worth the money you're going to pay for. And so we wanted to make sure, because we're dealing with kids at the end of the day, these student athletes, we wanted to make sure what we are teaching, number one, hit, that they got it. It wasn't too over their head. Were there areas that we were teaching that they wanted to lean into more? Were there areas that we were teaching that we were like, that didn't really stick? So we've been going through this refinement process over the last 6 months to really make sure that Influential Athlete Academy, which is our signature program, is just killer coming out of the gate, which it absolutely is. And we have so many testimonials from not just the athletes themselves, but from their parents. And from a parent's perspective, who are usually the ones who are footing the bill in this situation, that just speaks volumes. And my heart is just so full hearing from these parents and the thanks and the letters and the emails that I've gotten from them, just being like, I've already seen the transformation in my daughter or my son.
Former Fox 6 news anchor. Wow, it sounds interesting
to
say, doesn't it?
Isn't it?
Stephanie Grady joining us in studio, launching Influential Athlete LLC. Is there value in partnering with, either conferences at the high school level, individual high schools, or even at the university level, or everybody's trying to kind of wrap their arms around what they can do, what they shouldn't do, how to get exposure for their athletes? It benefits profitable sports, not profitless sports at the high school and college level.
Sure.
Do you go that route at all, connecting with the schools or universities?
We do. So what we're looking to do right now is we're partnering with some high schools as well as some universities, again, all division levels here, on providing some workshops out of the gate, right? Because we have to build our reputation. We're a brand new company, and yes, we already have wonderful testimonials. Yes, we're already driving results, but we're here to start making a name for ourselves in this space, right? It's a bright blue ocean, this whole NIL space. It's brand new, but we still have to prove our worth, right? Prove our value. And so we're offering workshops, which we provide incredible value for, whether it's an entire high school athletic department or for individual colleges, just because they have more sports and they have more athletes, individual athletic programs where we'll come in and we'll provide a complimentary workshop for them, providing a ton of NIL value right then and there. And then if individual athletes or the program itself is interested, then we can talk about kind of moving into our signature program, which is Influential Athlete Academy, and kind of taking it to the next level where we dive deep on everything and we really give that complete and total roadmap to NIL success.
This space is huge. I mean, I feel like this is just simmering right now, and it's about to go on fire. Female athletes, I was looking this up earlier this morning, female athletes make up 52% of top 100 college stars with NIL deals. That surprised me a little bit. Female athletes, 52%. Is this something that you wished when you were in school? I mean, were you thinking like that? Because I feel like this has changed so much with NIL, but did you wish that you had something like this? Was your mind even at that point?
It wasn't at the NIL point because it didn't exist, right? Back when I graduated from high school or when my athletic career came to an end. The reason why we're coming out of the gate really specifically serving female athletes, and we'll eventually go to guys too, but a lot of those sports, especially the money-making sports, football, men's basketball, they're pretty served in the NIL space at most, especially your Power 5 universities, right? Female athletes are incredibly underserved. And that's what I'm hearing from so many coaches at the university level as well as the high school level, is that these girls aren't getting, number one, the attention, let alone the education when it comes to this space. And they have so much to offer, right? And so, yes, when I was a figure skater and my athletic career came to an end one day, massive injury, that was it. So like 15 years of my life and so much money and so much time and dedication, so much sacrifice put into this, it's gone, right? So what happens? What happens when that career ends, whether it's by injury or by choice or by eligibility, right? So many of these athletes, they're lost. They have nothing. Their entire life is just kind of the thing that's been their life is just taken away from them. And so they go from being a superstar in so many respects to just, I guess I have to be normal and get a 9-to-5 job. Like, I don't really know what to do. This thing that's been a part of my life is just gone. And so what we do is we're the solution to that problem, the solution that I so wish that I had back when I ended my athletic career, that leverage what you have now while you're still competing, while you're still a superstar. Learn all these skills to help you get to that next level so that when it does come time for your athletic career to close, sure, make money with your NIL now. That's great. That's awesome. We'll teach you how to do that. But you are just set up to be light years ahead of your peers when it comes time for that next level, when you're interviewing for the job, when you're asking for the bank for a loan because you want to start your own company. Whatever it might be, you are just light years ahead at the age of 21, right? I mean, so many of us, we learned how to be professional by 35, just by getting experience. So we're teaching these kids how to do this now so that they don't have to spend 10, 15 years kind of figuring it out.
Are you going to be focusing on student athletes here in Wisconsin? I know you have family out east. Your husband has family out east. Is this going to be out east as well? Is this you're looking to take over the country? What's the plan, the hope?
So this will be nationwide, and we are starting here, though. I mean, we are here in Wisconsin. We've built so many relationships with what I've done over the last 10 years, with what my husband has done. He has so many relationships when it comes to the athletic realm, at the state level, at the local level. So we're really focused on Wisconsin athletes right now, but we're already talking with athletes all across the country. And we've been doing beta testing with athletes across the country at a lot of your Power 5 schools and high schools in different states. And every state's different when it comes to these rules. And so we teach them how to kind of navigate all of that. But the athletes here and the universities here and the high schools here, and, if DSHA is listening, or any of, university school, any of your schools out there that really want a value add to their program, this is going to be huge. Whether you like NIL or not, because I know that there's a lot of naysayers out there who are saying it's ruining college sports. I get it. Change is hard. This is a huge change, but change a lot of times is good. And this is a good thing for the athletes. And I think it's time for us to embrace this. And we do this the right way. That's the point, is that there's a lot of sleaze out there, just like with any industry. We teach these kids, these are the red flags to look for. This is how you do it the right way, with integrity, to be respectable on social media, all of those sorts of things that are just going to serve them for life.
One chapter closes, another one opens. Day one on the job. Yep. Already off and running with influential athlete Stephanie Grady. Congratulations on launching this, right?
Yes.
And let us know how else we can help. It is a fascinating space. There's a lot of newness, a lot of unknowns, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks listening who maybe have a son or daughter that is, kind of at that point where they just need to learn more and need people to help them learn more too.
Without a doubt. And we offer, we know that parents want to talk through this stuff, right?
Sure.
Because a lot of them are just completely and totally, this is an unknown space. And parents, they want to help their kids. They want to protect their kids. So go to influentialathlete.com. There you can request a free 30-minute NIL strategy call with me. We will get on a Zoom together. I will answer all of your questions. We will talk about your specific child, what their needs are, what you want for their future. We'll talk through all of that. If it leads to something and you think that we're the right fit for you and we can serve you in a better capacity, we'll figure it out. If not, the 30-minute call is for you. That value is for you. So go to influentialathlete.com and schedule your strategy call because we're booking now.
Well, thank you for coming in. Great job with the weather. By the way, we closed out your career in TV as a meteorologist on the radio here.
Okay, I got one more question.
Oh, yeah.
You going to bed early tonight? You don't have to do the 10 o'clock news.
You know, that's really funny. So my co-anchor, Ben Handelman, former co-anchor, which is so sad to say because he's one of my best friends.
Right.
He said to me last night, he's like, so I expect at 9 o'clock that you're going to be sitting on the couch completely done up, head to toe in makeup, fully dressed. I don't want you in pajamas, Steph. We need to keep you in routine. So I don't want, to see you in 5 days and you haven't showered. So I'm like, easy.
Yeah, right. Girl, go to bed early. Get that little bit of sleep.
I know.
Well, congratulations on a marvelous career in TV and the launch of a new one here with Influential Athlete.
Thank you guys so much. Greg and Jessica, you guys are great.
You bet. Thank you so much. 11:54 on WTMJ. We'll get you news coming up in a few.
When you need to sell quickly, choose Grandview to buy your home, even if it's less than perfect. Don't waste time and money on finding a real estate agent and dealing with showings. We'll buy your home completely as is. No repairs, not even a clean out. Grandview Homes gives you an offer in hours, and we close on the day you choose in as little as 10 days with no closing costs. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today. Grandview Homes, the fastest and easiest way to sell your home.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you feel self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Ridgelands.
Between market volatility, inflation, global unrest, and the presidential election, there's a lot going on. Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. Have a plan built that matches up with your investment and retirement goals. Annex does it as a fee-only fiduciary with unbiased advice. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com, click the Get Started button. It's time to put things in order. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. AnnexWealth.com.
Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company. Your garage door is a big part of your home's exterior. Mine's beat up, rusting on the bottom, and about to be replaced with a beautiful, high-quality, made-in-America door from Lifetime Door Company. Family-owned, Lifetime Door has endless possibilities in size, style, and color, and local installers all in-house. Tell them Vinny sent you, and it's $100 off your garage door, $50 off a new door opener. Visit the showroom in Brookfield or start online at lifetimedoor.net.
Labor shortages, retention problems, it's been a challenging time for my business. But in Wisconsin, there's 600,000 people with disabilities who are ready to work right now. They just need you to believe in them and say yes. I did.
And once you say yes, Thinkability Wisconsin will be there, providing transition and workforce support for people with disabilities and their employers to help shape a better future for all. It all starts when you say yes. Join the movement at thinkabilitywi.org.
Hey, Wisconsin, Jim Bob Morse here. Get ready to break out the Bandito with El Bandito Yankee, the official tequila of game day. 100% blue Weber agave, award-winning, all-natural, additive-free, and the smoothest tequila Milwaukee, Madison, and Titletown has ever tasted. Get yours today at La Pina on 3rd Street or your favorite local store. Remember, you always win with the undefeated flavor of El Bandito Yankee tequila. And for events, recipes, and places for purchase, go to elbanditoyankee.com.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Tune in each week as John exposes industry myths for truth seekers looking to navigate their way to financial freedom. What he reveals may surprise you. To learn more about the show and how creative planning can help you build a custom financial plan and portfolio tailored to you and your goals, visit creativeplanning.com/radio. Don't settle for outdated advice. Your money deserves better, and so do you.
When it comes to accurate, reliable election information for Wisconsin voters, visit the official site. It's myvote.wi.gov. It's the big cheese, you could say. It's your one-stop source for official Wisconsin election information. Find your polling place, see your sample ballot, make sure your registration is up to date, and more at myvote.wi.gov. Sponsored by Wisconsin Elections Commission, aired by Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. If you're a dog owner and you're looking for a place to take your dog to hang out or get the nails trimmed, maybe a bath, maybe a overnight stay because of you getting out of town. Whatever it is, the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls can help you out. It is the Hounds and Tap, a beautiful facility in Menominee Falls right off Silver Spring. Gorgeous, designed for dogs, with dogs in mind. Not a retrofit, a 12,000 square foot masterpiece, and your dog's going to love it. You will too. Catch a game and some food from a food truck, a nice cold beverage with your dog while they sort of hang out and socialize. You do the same. Join the Hounds and Tap on Sundays for family day or really anytime you want to come in. And looking to drop your dog off for daycare or boarding or a grooming appointment, they will handle it. It's the Hounds and Tap, sort of a one-stop shop here where every day is a play day.
Debbie Lazaga here for Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. This month only, get zero interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Luxstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote, with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a good karma brand station.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. Admit it, you've been dealing with achy joint pain for so long. It's been so long you don't even remember when it started, when you used to feel good. You do the daily doses of medication, which basically just a Band-Aid. You've done the steroid shots, and it just doesn't last, and God knows what the long-term effects are. So let's talk real lasting relief. It is possible with the help from QC Kinetics. People in Milwaukee are reducing the inflammation, getting the mobility back, and most importantly, getting their lives back. Just call QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in cellular therapies, using your own body's healing properties. Find out if you're a candidate for regenerative treatments. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Here's the number, 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and here's the best part, no downtime. You can go right to the office right after a treatment. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris are joined by Basketball Hall of Famer and exec Joe Dumars. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Did your home suffer damage from a storm or severe weather? Don't stress any longer. Loyal Family Renovations treats all of its customers like they've joined their personal family, and every project as if the work was being done at their own house. Loyal Family Renovations has a leg up on the competition due to the personal relationships they've built with insurance adjusters over the years. Loyal Family is family-owned, and the loyalty belongs to their customers. Contact them today to get your free home inspection. LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
Protect mom's assets, protect your assets. Call Kraus Estate Planning, estateplanningpeople.com.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Wednesday, October 16th. Your top story, an accused killer heads back to court.
I'm Jessica Ty. The Deer District grows by 4,500 seats.
Sunny today, a high of 56, clear and chilly tonight. A little frost on the ground. Again, a low of 32. Sunny and nice on Thursday with a high of 64. It's 50 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:02. From the WTMJ breaking newsroom, the trial for a man from Greenfield accused of killing his infant daughter is now underway. 55-year-old Roger Schrader, who used to perform as Silly the Clown, was the last person seen with his daughter before a 911 call was made. First responders say the 7-week-old was found unresponsive inside the family's apartment in Greenfield in 1991. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner found Catherine Schrader. She had died from blunt force trauma. Schrader was charged with homicide shortly after.
Among those who took the stand already, former Greenfield Fire Chief Gary Bauer, who responded to the 911 call.
The blood pressure, we could not obtain a blood pressure, could not obtain a pulse, and the person was not breathing.
The trial is expected to continue into next week.
More financial trouble could be on the way for the state's largest school district. The State Department of Public Instruction giving Milwaukee Public Schools $587 million in general aid this year, millions less than what the district expected.
Last year, MPS received almost $50 million more in funding. Department of Public Instruction Interim Communications Director Chris Bucher says that's based on all districts' prior year student counts, financial data, and property values. An amended budget will be brought forward to the Board of School Directors on October 29th. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
Trouble finds a pair of Milwaukee Public Schools on the football field. The WIAA ruling both Bayview and Pulaski High School must forfeit all of their games this year after district administrators failed to submit the proper paperwork to change conferences. 4 members of the Milwaukee Common Council issued a statement criticizing the office's commissioner, Bobby Kelsey. In addition to forfeiting the games, both schools have been banned from the playoffs for 2 years. MPS says it plans to appeal the WIAA's ruling.
The Milwaukee Common Council approves $1.7 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds for crisis prevention. The dollars will help programs related to eviction prevention, homebuyer down payment assistance, housing for LGBTQ, plus youth and pregnant mothers in need, and more. Organizations receiving funding include Eviction Free Milwaukee, Zilber Family Foundation, the Bridge Project, and Courage Milwaukee.
The next phase of the Deer District is here. FPC Live and the Bucks breaking ground at a new 4,500-seat music venue on the site of the old Bradley Center. The venue is being touted as a game changer for the Deer District and the city, with the hopes of adding another place where big-name music and comedy acts can play. Visit Milwaukee's Peggy Williams-Smith.
We mark the beginning of a project that will help to continue to elevate Milwaukee's reputation as a vibrant live entertainment destination, not only for our residents, but for visitors from across the country.
The venue is tentatively set to open in late 2025.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the green now, with the Dow up about 260 points, flirting with 43,000. Currently sitting at 42,999. The Nasdaq up about 22 points at 18,337. And the S&P 500 up about 17 points at 5833. Get an honest opinion of where you are financially and where you're heading. Work with a fee-only fiduciary. Begin the process at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hey, since 1955, Geist has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Greg Matzik reminding you not to let a busted garage door get you down. Make a call to Geist. You're back in the game. They've got brands like CHI and LiftMaster. In fact, doors for every budget. Inside their showroom in Brookfield, right off Barker Road. Very cool place. Lots of doors, lots of openers, and a quick turnaround time for you. They could even go the custom route at Geist. Whatever the situation you require, call Geist and visit geistdoors.com.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Packers are upgrading their special teams unit, signing kicker Brandon McManus. McManus will replace struggling kicker Braden Narvison. We'll talk more about this move with Jason Wilde coming up in about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, former Packers kicker Anders Carlson signs with the San Francisco 49ers.
Let's get you an update right now on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. I want to let you know about 4394 North at the ramp from Holt Avenue. I told you during the last update that we had a fire out there. The fire is out now. Emergency responders, the fire department got out there quickly. It's still a bit of a mess, though. 4394 North at the ramp from Holt Avenue. Right shoulder is closed because of a fire. There was a car fire out there just a little bit ago. And there are definitely some backups. So you're going to see backups all the way from Howard to Beecher. In some spots, they're worse. But hopefully that will start to ease here in just the next couple of minutes now that the fire department is gone and that fire is out.
Traffic is sponsored by SB Framing Gallery, Milwaukee's distinctive archival framing.
SB Framing Gallery in the 3rd Ward can enhance and protect your artwork for generations. Framing pieces with archival and distinctive design. Learn more at sbframinggallery.com.
Sunny today, little chilly on a high of 56. Clear and chilly tonight. Frost inland and a low of 32. Thursday looks great. Sunny and nice, a high of 64. Little bump up in temperature on Friday. Sunny and mild with a high of 68. It's 52 and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
It's Jersey Day at Good Karma Brands here, so I actually took this off.
Wait, are the tags still on there?
Yeah, well, so this was, I'm not a big Jersey guy. Like, people think, you worked in sports for, a couple of decades. They need all these. No, I don't really wear jerseys to sporting events.
If you were going to wear one, though, I like this one. This is a nice Brewers
I got
one.
Like an old school Raleigh Fingers jersey.
Nobody signed it.
He did sign it, which somebody would say, get that framed. I'm trying to get it into our camera here.
Oh, that's why you have the tags on it. So are you trying to sell that later on?
I know I was going to frame it, and I still might, but I had it in my closet, and I saw it this morning. I was like, oh, yeah, it's Jersey Day. We're celebrating our partners and friends at 1017 The Truth. So everybody's wearing jerseys around the office, and I put on my old school Brewers, straight out of the 80s, Raleigh Fingers jersey. That is signed. And he's a Hall of Famer, so I got to be careful with this. I can't spill coffee or yogurt on it.
I don't even have a jersey in my closet.
Okay.
I think I might have one jersey that was like a Giannis giveaway.
Yeah, I can see it with the Bucks jersey.
And I feel like it's very minute. Like it's very small. It might be a kid's jersey or something. I don't think I fit in it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, if you see a stream of people wearing jerseys walking out of the 3rd Street Market Hall, you'll understand why. Some big stories that we're following today as we approach 12:10.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
The presidential race almost a dead heat. That's a finding from the new National Marquette Law School poll just released today. Results show the Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, is the choice of 48% of those surveyed. The Republican nominee, former President Donald Trump, grabs 47% support. 4% of people polled said they would vote for someone else, and 1% said they're not going to vote for president. As for where the candidates will be next, ABC's Lionel Mosey tells us about the next campaign stops.
Harris is expected to rally with a group of Republican supporters outside of Philadelphia today, and she'll sit down for a Fox News interview. As for Trump, his next rally is in Detroit.
Harris is scheduled to spend the night here in Milwaukee tonight. She has rallies tomorrow in La Crosse as well as Green Bay.
Well, significant progress being made in North Carolina. Recovery efforts far from over, however, in the western part of the state. Officials say about 90% of cell service has been restored. Portions of some roads still closed, including I-40. That's a major thoroughfare connecting the western part of the state with points east. Governor Roy Cooper wants everyone to know.
Some parts of the area are open and ready to welcome visitors, which is critical for the revival of Western North Carolina's economy.
As for the election, the North Carolina Board of Elections is extending the absentee ballot deadline for the 13 counties in the western portion of the state, which were hardest hit. Some of the polling places are literally just non-existent anymore, so they've kind of had to go back to the drawing board to get things figured out. Meanwhile, voters who have already cast a ballot, they're trying to figure out if their ballot needs to be recast. So it's kind of a mess in the western part of North Carolina right now, but they're working through it as best they can.
Makes you appreciate what we have going on here.
No doubt.
Well, the holiday shopping season has already started, at least for some. Greg bought a couple gifts. I was surprised about that.
A little bit ahead of the game, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Happy about that.
I like it. I haven't bought any yet. According to a projection from one retail group, it could be a record-setting year in sales. The National Retail Federation says sales could hover around $989 billion this year in the months of November and December, up from $956 billion last year. That's just like a lot of billions. What I want to know is the sales. How deep are those discounts going to be this year? Let's find out from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Spending is still going up, but it's not going up nearly as fast as the 3 years coming out of the pandemic. It is very clear that shoppers are price conscious and they are searching for the best discounts. So when you look at where some of the categories are, where prices are dropping the most over the past year, think of TVs, toys and games, and sporting goods.
There you go. So that's where you're going to find the best deals this year.
12:13 on WTMJ. The Packers have a new kicker, and he brings with him a little bit of baggage. We'll check in with Jason Wilde live in Green Bay after this. It's 12:13 on WTMJ.
Wisconsin volleyball has a new home.
It's match point in Madison.
Catch all the excitement of the 2024 season.
Booth and Shrek putting up that Wisconsin wall.
And don't miss out on moments like this.
Booth dunks it down with two hands, and that's a point for Wisconsin. Set Shrek, kill Franklin.
Badgers volleyball on WTMJ is presented by Steinhoffels. Don't miss any of the action right here on Wisconsin's radio station, 620 WTMJ.
Helping people and families seriously injured in accidents and standing up for victims to take the burden off their shoulders. Greg Matzik here for Gruber Law Offices. You know David, you've seen him on TV, you've probably seen him at a game or two, giving back to the community and helping those seriously injured in accidents. Kind of the backbone of Gruber Law Offices, and it has been for 40-plus years. One of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest. You focus on healing, they focus on fighting for you. They'll take care of the legal aspect with no fee, no cost to call, no cost to consult or retain their firm. In fact, never a fee at Gruber until they win your case. It's what they've been doing for decade upon decade. Locally known and nationally recognized. Check them out online at gruber-law.com or make a phone call. Connect with Gruber at 414-276-6666.
Looking ahead to life's next adventure? Hi, I'm Mike Yancey from Yancey & Associates. Whether you're buying a home or launching your dream business, we know there's a lot on your plate. But here's the thing, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1946, we've helped Wisconsinites like you secure, protect, and grow their version of the American dream. Our team is ready to tailor the perfect plan for you. Learn more at ANSAY.com. That's ANSAY.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money too. That's ACCUNET.com.
It's Wednesday, which means it's time for Flanner's Home Entertainment Football Fix with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
A drama-free win for the Packers. Would you rather have the blowout, or would you rather have the win that comes down to the final seconds and you're at the edge of your seat the entire fourth quarter?
Some people can't handle that. I love that.
Here on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Yeehaw! Yeehaw!
Our football fix here on a Wednesday is sponsored by Flanner's Home Entertainment. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Considering a move this week at kicker?
I wouldn't say that right now.
Okay, well, that was Monday. Things happen fast here in the NFL, and that's why we love to have Jason Wilde. Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin, joining us from Green Bay. Things move quickly. Maybe not quickly enough for some, Wilde, but there is a new kicker in Green Bay, and he brings with him a bit of controversy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that today, but I would say that on Wednesday now, or at least Tuesday, right? Because Matt LaFleur was talking on, like you said, on Monday Yes, Brandon McManus is the Packers' new kicker. The Packers have made that official now, and they have said goodbye to Braden Narvison. Oh, Narvi, we hardly knew ye.
Yeah.
But they've made the change, and to your point about the baggage, so he was a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars last season, and 2 flight attendants from their flight to London alleged in a civil suit against him, not a criminal suit or a criminal case, that he tried to kiss one of them when he was drunk and was, quote, grinding and rubbing, according to the court documents, against both of them. And so they are suing him and the Jaguars for $1 million. His lawyer is quoted in an Associated Press story saying that this is a, quote, shakedown. So take that for what you will. But the bottom line is, and we've said this, I've said this for years, your willingness to accept questionable, aberrant, whatever it might be, behavior is directly proportional to how desperately you need someone at a position of need. And the Packers clearly decided that they could not continue with Braden Narvison. And while this guy obviously comes with some question marks based on what he's been accused of, the NFL has just determined that he did not, there's insufficient evidence for him to earn any sort of personal conduct suspension. So he will not be suspended for this incident. He may end up settling out of court, but the bottom line is he is cleared to play for any team, and he will be playing for the Green Bay Packers.
It does feel a little icky, I'll be honest, because I think for the most part, we've had, a couple bad apples here and there, but for the most part, the Packers, I think that's part of why we love them. We've had good teams with good players and good guys. And the Packers, they'll even tell you that. They look for character as well. And I think we love that as fans. So it feels a little weird. I'm happy to hear that the NFL looked into it, found insufficient evidence. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what exactly that says. But to your point, we needed a kicker. It feels like whiplash, though, it's like, wait, who do we have now?
Yeah, look, I thought, this is their 6th kicker that has been on their roster since the start of the offseason program. That's a lot. And obviously, Anders Carlson joined the 49ers yesterday. Greg Joseph is kicking for the New York Giants. The guy that kicked for the Cardinals in the game on Sunday was another guy that they'd had in for a workout the week before, and they didn't sign him right away. And he went on to sign with the Cardinals and make all of his kicks against the Packers while Narvison was missing a 48-yard field goal. So I think that they probably said, look, if we're going to make this change, we can't wait, because the next thing we know, another team with a kicker problem is going to sign McManus, and then we'll be sitting here again for another week saying, well, maybe we stick with Braden Narvison again, and they just decided we need to do this.
And all the while, Anders Carlson signs with the 49ers. So
right?
To take you behind the curtain here, we were talking about that in the newsroom after our show yesterday, Jason. And Jessica and I were just saying, is he flying now? What is he doing? Because we know he's got aspirations of being a pilot and has been through Delta's flight program. So Jessica had this little back and forth text conversation with Anders yesterday.
Okay, so full disclosure here. This is before, I didn't know.
I didn't either.
This was all happening. The 49ers thing was happening at the time. And I thought about him the last couple of days because we had received some text messages from the fans. One of the text messages was yesterday, if he isn't in airline training, bring back Anders Carlson. So I just love the fact that people remember the story, but also, so we had kind of, for a couple days had gotten these texts, and I thought, if I were him, I'd like to know that Green Bay Packers fans were still thinking about him in the midst of all of our chaos up here. So I just sent him that text and said, hey, we're getting a lot of text messages like this one the last few days, thought I'd share. So he just texted back, haha, and then he said, let's go. So I thought it was maybe, yeah. Not really that we'd get him back. But then all of a sudden we're chatting about it, and then he goes to the 49ers. So 30 minutes later, I'm like, oh, wait, just seeing you're going to San Francisco. Is that official? And he said, yep, just got here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And whether or not he flew there himself, I'll let you follow up on that.
True. I didn't ask him that.
I would say this. I think if you were an Anders supporter, or quite frankly, if you're Anders himself, I think you should feel justified now, right? I think you should feel vindicated. I think you should say, hey, you gave up on me too early, regardless of how things pan out, because the 49ers' primary kicker is Jake Moody, who's been dealing with an ankle injury, I think. Then the guy they had kicking for him, who basically lost the game for them against Arizona, has a shoulder injury, so they're not sure he can kick either. So Anders could be kicking for them. The team that he missed the 41-yard field goal against in the playoff game, he could be kicking for them on Sunday. But the bottom line is, Goody admitted that he's impatient with specialists, not patient enough. I would argue, and Goody is welcome to his opinion and to think that my opinion doesn't matter, but I think they should have stuck with him and I said this at the time, this is not like, oh, they've had all these problems now, I'm going to revise history. If you invest a sixth-round pick in the guy, I think you have to stick with him and give him another year. And I thought they really would, and I was surprised that they didn't. And as it turned out, the guy that they chose instead was not an upgrade. I think we can all agree on that.
Looking ahead to the Texans here, it's going to be a whiteout at Lambeau. Say the white helmets, the white everything. I think this looks cooler.
Looks sharp.
At night, to be honest with you, when the stands are all white. I think it like Penn State football. It looks amazing. This is a noon game still. The Packers are trying something a little different here. This is going to be interesting, though, Jason. This is like a legit, solid playoff team. Like, fun factor. The Houston Texans are fun and interesting and different. This is not the Rams, who the Packers saw a couple of weeks, nor is it the Cardinals, who look totally disinterested and disorganized in playing football at Lambeau on Sunday.
Yeah, and I think the Packers are really lucky. I don't know who they. I hear that there are some people in the political realm who think that the weather can be controlled and like hurricanes and stuff. So I don't think the Packers have that kind of power. But to have a whiteout where you want people to wear the sweatshirts or the T-shirts that you can buy at the pro shop, it's going to be 73 degrees on game day. Had it been 42 and rainy, I think the whiteout would have turned into a blaze orange out, right? Because everyone would have gotten their warm hunting jackets and wanted to be warm and snuggly instead of wearing these outfits that they want. So in the stands, it should be white, even though it's going to be sunny at noon, and certainly on the field. The white helmets, I think, are interesting. I think this will be, other than the times, Greg, when they would paint their helmets brown, so they would be mimicking the old leather helmets from that era.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've had anything other than a yellow helmet for a really, really long time.
I think this will be cool. Hey, real quick, I wanted to ask you about the New York Packers.
Yeah, they're really getting the band back together out there.
Aren't they? Jeez.
Are they going to sign Cobb off the street again, too?
Yeah, well, he's already had one tour of duty. I think he's ready to, work on the SEC network and go into our field, which we should try and get him on our team frequently.
Ooh.
He was great. So, look, I'm fascinated. I know that we had a lot of Packers fans respond on our show saying, hey, this isn't a Jet show. We don't really care what Rodgers and Devontae are up to.
Some people still do, though. That's the thing.
I do.
Even if they don't want to admit it.
And the YouTube numbers would indicate there were a lot of other people that did too.
See, I'm glad I asked.
Well, he is sometimes capable of controlling Tausch. He is certainly capable of controlling the weather, and he'll be at Lambeau on Sunday. Jason Wilde, ESPN Wisconsin, Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon. Always appreciate it, pal. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, everybody. Take care. Be good.
You do the same. 1226 on WTMJ. Our football fix with Wilde, sponsored by Flanner's Home Entertainment. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Elmbrook Family Dental. It's a one-stop shop. Along with teeth cleaning and dental care, the folks at Elmbrook Family Dental can assist you with replacing missing teeth, implementing Invisalign, cosmetic dentistry, teeth whitening, and even TMJ therapy. Elmbrook Family Dental. They've got 2 locations in Brookfield and a brand new state-of-the-art site in Wauwatosa on Mayfair Road near Wisconsin Avenue. ElmbrookFamilyDental.com. That's ElmbrookFamilyDental.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Flanner's Home Entertainment. Does the audio and video system in your home need an upgrade? Well, Flanner's has all the solutions and the installation experts to simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases. You go with locally owned Flanner's, where quality service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Stop by Flanner's in West Dallas, Grafton, or at Flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Siding is what pops on your home. Clean lines, beautiful accents, and wonderful colors can make your home really look amazing. Homeowners are always looking to add curb appeal when buying new siding, and a well-installed product from Siding Unlimited will definitely deliver a grand appeal. There is so much more to gain from replacing your siding other than the curb appeal you're already seeking. There is so much value in having new siding with low maintenance. Just an annual cleaning with the hose is all you really need to do. You can't get much lower maintenance than that. The process of replacing siding gives homeowners a fresh start, a new understanding knowing that we can peel back the old stuff and get a real in-depth inspection on the walls on your home and the structural integrity. How has the home performed over the past 20 years? We'll see it all when removing the old siding. There's a high percentage your home is missing the most important factor in siding a home, and that's a working water barrier. Many homes built in the 1990s and prior don't have a water barrier beneath the siding, and homes that were built in the 90s that do have one probably have a water barrier that was installed incorrectly. New siding replacement assures us that we install the water barrier correctly and protect the home moving forward. Our process always includes adding insulation board to the wall. This gives you a water barrier underlayment and additional R value, which is an energy coefficient, so warmer walls, adding more value to the project than the expected curb appeal. As the new siding goes back on, we know your home will be ready to manage water well into the future and look amazing doing so.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for siding and also replacement windows, roofing, and decks. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. After a 5-day pause, the Israeli army is renewing airstrikes on Beirut, striking a warehouse in what it says was a Hezbollah stronghold.
Airstrikes also hitting southern Lebanon, the towns of Kana and Nabatea. The IDF says its forces have killed dozens of Hezbollah fighters, destroyed bunkers, and found weapon caches. Lebanon reporting at least 21 killed, including women and children. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Kamala Harris campaigning in Pennsylvania for the second time this week. Donald Trump continues his effort to win over Hispanic voters by taking part in an event on Univision. The U.S. Navy continues searching for 2 aviators whose fighter jet crashed during training in Washington state. More than 140 people are dead, including children, after an overturned gasoline tanker truck exploded in flames in Nigeria. There's a hearing coming up shortly on new evidence in the Menendez brothers case in California. They could get out of prison or receive lighter sentences. This is ABC News.
Siding Unlimited WTMJ News time is 12:31. Decision Wisconsin too close to call. The latest Marquette University Law School poll finding the margin separating Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in the race for the White House to be razor thin. Harris leads Trump 49-48 among likely voters, with 4% saying they would vote for someone else. When asked if they had to vote for either of the two candidates, the poll was dead even at 50-50.
Both the Trump and Harris campaigns are reaching out to Latino voters. Trump will speak directly to some of them today at a town hall in Florida. CBS's Christian Benavides is there.
In the past few elections, we've seen that the Latino vote, the Latino electorate, has sort of been shifting away from the Democrats, and particularly here in South Florida, we've seen it skyrocket for the Republicans. And so, as sort of a rebuttal to this town hall that former President Donald Trump is holding about a mile away from here at Univision with Latino voters, the Harris campaign held a press conference here to sort of stress their points and their message to Latinos.
The election is less than 3 weeks away now on November 5th.
New details about the vice president's upcoming visit. Vice President Harris will arrive at Milwaukee's Mitchell International Airport about 7 o'clock tonight. Scheduled to campaign in Milwaukee tomorrow. Still no word on the exact time or location just yet. Harris will then travel to La Crosse Thursday for an afternoon rally, then off to Green Bay for a rally in the evening.
A former grade school aide in Kenosha County no longer has a job. Anna Marie Crocker was an employee at Riverview School in Silver Lake until she was fired this week, accused of sexually assaulting a student. The victims in this case are young boys. One was 12 at the time of the alleged assault, the other 14. Crocker is still in jail this afternoon. According to her defense attorney, she's claiming innocence.
Up and going vertical.
That's Bucks President Peter Fagan announcing the next phase of the Deer District, breaking ground on a new music venue on the site of the former Bradley Center. Frank Productions President Joe Plant.
We mark the beginning of a project that will help to continue to elevate Milwaukee's reputation as a vibrant live entertainment destination, not only for our residents, but for visitors from across the country.
Plant says the 4,500-seat venue could open late next year.
Gallery Night MKE returns this weekend.
On Friday, we are actually unveiling 4 new large-scale outdoor paintings throughout the 3rd Ward.
Historic 3rd Ward Association Marketing and Communications Director Jordan Deschambre says the artists will be there to talk about their murals from 6 to 8 p.m. Friday. And on Saturday, there's a special event for four-legged art lovers.
They'll have treats at the sculptures for the pups and water. And you'll be able to really learn a little bit about the new Sculpture Milwaukee exhibit as well as some old favorites.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News time is 12:34.
Jen Latta here from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I have told you about the delicious pizza you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate. Now there's even more to be excited about with new sandwiches on the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy options like the turkey pesto, the meatball hero, the Italian hoagie, and more. Skip the same old lunch at your desk and grab a delicious sandwich from Proof instead. Order inside the restaurant or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sporked called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Yet another strong storm rolled through Oak Creek in South Milwaukee, causing actual damage at my house. Thankfully, I knew exactly what to do. I called my friends Jeff and Jake at Loyal Family Renovations, and Jeff came by to assess the damage. If your home has suffered storm damage, don't leave it up to the out-of-towners. Loyal Family is family-owned, and the loyalty belongs to their customers. Contact them today for a free damage inspection, and they'll help make your home remodeling dreams a reality. LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Well, things move fast in the NFL. On Monday, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur had this to say about the kicking situation in Green Bay.
Considering a move this week at kicker?
I wouldn't say that right now, no.
Okay, well, today the Packers make official the signing of veteran kicker Brandon McManus to replace struggling rookie Braden Narvison. Meanwhile, former Packers kicker Anders Carlson signs with the 49ers.
Let's get you out to the roads right now and give you an update with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We actually have quite a bit of slowing right now on 41 South in Menominee Falls. I'll tell you what, though, I just looked at about 7 different cameras. I don't see a good reason for it, and no incidents are being reported, but that is an area out in Menominee Falls where you have some construction yet. At least the construction barrels are out there. So just a heads up that 41 South is in the Menominee Falls area, not looking that great. But once again, no crashes being reported, no accidents out there. So just pack your patience, and if you can, avoid that area. Our area that had the car fire earlier, that is long gone, so that's good. We do have one new thing that just popped up a few minutes ago as well. I-94 east at the ramp from County SS. Left shoulder is blocked due to a crash there. That's also a spot. That's out in Waukesha County, but that's also a spot where they have some construction going on, some construction barrels out there, but the barrels at this point are off to the side. But just those construction zones can be a bit tricky.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Be our eyes on the road. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line at 414-238-9329.
Chilly today, a high of just 56 degrees or so. Sun is going to be out in full force. Frost tonight and a low of 32. Tomorrow we warm up a bit, a high of 64, back into the 70s over the weekend. And no threat of rain here for the rest of the weekend through the weekend. We're liking that. It's 52 and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:38.
Back in school, we used to dream about this every day. Could it really happen? All those dreams just fade away.
He's a fan of 90s R&B, and he is also a CBS congressional correspondent. 12:39ish on a Wednesday. Time to check in with Scott McFarlane. Hello, Scott.
First ever hit from Boys to Men, a group that was produced by the original Belle Biv DeVoe, which came from New Edition. You got 90s R&B from top to bottom on that
That's
song.
what he said. I said they're kind of like the same band. We were talking about that yesterday, oddly enough.
Wow. You just took me so far back. New Edition, Scott. I loved New Edition. I think I had a New Edition record. That was so great.
I have a New Edition record, too, and I didn't throw it out.
You got to keep those. They're gems.
Scott, so it's Jersey Day here at Good Karma Brands. We're supporting one of our radio station partners in the building, so everybody's wearing their favorite jersey. You guys ever do that, the congressional correspondents? Do you ever do, like, funny hat day or wear a jersey day?
Oh, dear.
Lighten it up. It's also suit and tie.
No, it's always a suit and tie. We're really daring when we throw jeans on with the suit and tie. It's the rules of the Capitol. But I tell you what, in Congress, everything's very parochial, and there's a number of Packers jerseys obnoxiously on Monday mornings among some members of the staff here from the Wisconsin delegation, only when they win.
Obnoxious for some, very fun for others.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
Us.
Right on brand. Love it. Love it. Hey, it is crunch time here. I wanted to ask you about the candidates and their paths, right? They're kind of crisscrossing the country, focus on battleground states, less than 3 weeks to the election. Is there really anything left for either former President Trump or Vice President Harris to do that they haven't already done?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to surprise you with this, but there's a sense from party activists, not just at the presidential level, at the congressional level, and the local level. The ads don't work anymore. I mean, the saturation point has already been reached on advertisements. You're still going to see them. They'll stay on the air because nobody wants to unilaterally disarm before November 5th. But there's incredibly diminishing returns on all the ads because people have had about enough of them. They've already been marinating in them for months. The saturation point's been reached. So how do you make your final case to voters? There's no more debates. There's no more tentpole national events. The 60 Minutes broadcast is over. And that's a challenge for whoever thinks they're trailing. And both sides kind of think they're trailing right now, or at least worried they're trailing. So it really is a conundrum. How do we get those final undecided Wisconsin voters, however many there are, or how do we motivate our team, the less likelier voters who are under our flag, to go out there November 5th? And it's a challenge they're trying to do with events. That's why both the presidential candidates and vice presidential candidates have Wisconsin visits this week. They think that may move the meter. That's why they're going to start blowing up your phone some more, and not just asking for money, but reminding you to vote. But they don't know how to break through anymore because there's nothing left that's going to capture the eyeballs of everybody in the area. The ads just don't work anymore.
I wonder if there's something that will get some of these people who don't plan to vote, because we just had today, we had the new, it was a national Marquette Law School poll that just came out, showed that the presidential race is almost a dead heat. That's no shocker. Results show Vice President Kamala Harris is a choice of 48% of those surveyed. Republican nominee, former President Donald Trump, grabs 47%, but 4% said they would vote for somebody else, which, ultimately doesn't help anything. And 1% said they won't vote for president. So is there anything they can do to actually get these people who don't even plan to vote because they're so fed up with things to vote?
That's why the parties invest in what they call the ground game. That means people who actually will knock on your door. They call them canvassers. They canvass the neighborhoods and go out and make sure that on election day you've already voted or you have a plan to do so. Yeah, the Democrats have a particularly good ground game, and the Harris campaign has made a particularly good investment. And the conventional wisdom is they have a deeper investment and one that may be more sturdy on election day. But the outside conservative groups have tried to invest to help the Trump team. But that's what it comes down to, is how do you make sure you've mobilized those to vote? And that ultimately is the bigger mission right now versus trying to track down whoever doesn't have a strong opinion right now for or against Donald Trump.
CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland joining us here on Wisconsin's Midday News. I was looking at both schedules here just to see where the candidates would be over the next couple of weeks. It seems very clear that the Trump campaign is very heavily focused on Pennsylvania. It's one of a handful of battleground states. Of course, he has spent time in Michigan. He'll be there again on Friday, was in the Midwest, in Chicago the other day. Harris has a little bit more focus on Wisconsin, at least through the end of October. Is there anything to make out of that? Why Trump's campaign is really hammering and doubling down on Pennsylvania, while Kamala's got a little bit more weight to Wisconsin with her visits?
I think it'll inverse. Give it a few days, and then they'll swap places. The epicenter of the race is 7 states. We know that. But there are some that are deal makers and deal breakers, and I think the blue wall states are the 3 that if the Democrats don't win it, this doesn't seem to be any escape hatch. There's no combination of Sunbelt states that is likely to let them overcome the loss of the blue wall states. So I think the playing field's going to narrow. I think you're going to see an intense focus. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina. There may be a growing sense that Arizona and Georgia, though much more competitive with Vice President Harris, would only be padding an already sizable victory for either side. So I think you're going to get more. You're going to get more visits. And sometimes they're not afraid to mix it up. I mean, you'll see the Harris campaign going to more rural, redder areas of Wisconsin, trying to cut down on margins. You'll see the Trump team coming to the bluer areas of Wisconsin for the same reason. But it's only going to increase between now and November 5th.
Scott, I also wanted to ask what you know about this Las Vegas man who is now threatening to sue authorities over the Trump assassination attempt claim.
This is fascinating. In fact, we've interviewed him a couple times. You'll recall on Saturday, Trump had an event in Coachella, California, famous festival site. There was an arrest made at a security checkpoint of a guy from Las Vegas who allegedly had unregistered loaded guns in his car. The local sheriff in Riverside, California, did a news conference Sunday saying that he may have foiled an assassination attempt, that the person they arrested, who he named by name, may have been an attempted assassin. The man he arrested is a Trump volunteer, somebody who says he was going to the rally in support of Trump, that he was invited, knows the Trump family, has been a state candidate in Nevada in the past for the Republican Party, and is a devotee of Donald Trump's. And he says all of these accusations are false. He is now suing that sheriff for defamation, saying the allegations were not just wrong, but damaging to his reputation. He's getting death threats now for simply being arrested for a pair of misdemeanors for the unlawful alleged gun possession.
A wild story. And meanwhile, we continue to monitor the case in the western part of North Carolina. We were talking earlier today, Scott, about how these areas in North Carolina, especially the western part of the state, are trying to piece things back together after a devastating hurricane blew through. And now there's talk about what happened to the absentee ballots. Will ballots or votes need to be cast again? How voters are trying to take control of the situation. Meanwhile, polling sites were sort of knocked over, and they have to rebuild areas in the western part of that state. 13 counties in all have extensions on their absentee ballot opportunities. It's kind of a wild scene here, and the timing is certainly not great.
No, it's certainly not. It may have been enough lead time for the state to adequately respond. They've given every assurance that they do have the time and space to get temporary infrastructure in place to ensure everybody who wants to vote has ample opportunity to do so. Had this happened just a little closer to Election Day, that might not have been feasible. Certainly not ideal, but they seem to be gaining confidence they can get everybody logistically situated to vote. And though I wouldn't want to put myself in the place of anybody who's been impacted by disaster, I don't think there's going to be any decline in their interest in voting.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. Hey, Scott, before we let you go here, we like to bring it full circle here in Wisconsin's Midday News. You mentioned New Edition and that LP that you used to have at the top. I'm wondering, favorite song from New Edition? Is it Mr. Telephone Man, Cool It Now? Which one is it?
What's important for you to know is that Ray Parker Jr., the guy who sang Ghostbusters, he wrote Mr. Telephone Man.
He did.
And it's right off of his style book. So that's my favorite. And because Ray Parker is one of the great producers of music, not just one of the great singers. Glad you asked.
That is-
we have a full circle moment.
That's my favorite one, too. In fact, on social media, I once asked Usher if he could sing Mr. Telephone Man. He responded, fun fact, and he said, you just wait. And then sure enough, I'm sure he didn't sing it for me. He probably already had this in the bin. But then he responded.
Let's do a segment on that.
See?
That's much more fascinating
Gotta
than
get on the
presidential.
Capitol.
Kind of wish we had more time. We'll have some extra time for you next week, Scott. We'll revisit all of this.
Go.
Hey, we appreciate your time today, Scott.
Thanks,
we'll check in
Scott.
again next week.
Thank y'all.
You bet. Scott McFarland, CBS congressional correspondent, joining us here. Mashup music at its finest. Oh, did you say mashup? There's more to that story after this.
When it comes to accurate, reliable election information for Wisconsin voters, visit the official site. It's myvote.wi.gov. It's the big cheese, you could say. It's your one-stop source for official Wisconsin election information. Find your polling place, see your sample ballot, make sure your registration is up to date, and more at myvote.wi.gov. Sponsored by Wisconsin Elections Commission, aired by Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Protecting your family's legacy since 1999. Greg Matzik here for Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Just think about that. Estate planning, will generation, that can be kind of weighty stuff, right? Well, the folks at Krause Estate Planning take all the worry out of it, and they really help develop a customized program for you. It's protecting what you've built and protecting what you've earned, whether you're doing it for yourself, for family members, or if you're doing it for family members, kind of taking the bull by the horns. You connect with Krause Estate Planning, and they help guide you through the process with a custom plan. Dan Krause, retired Army veteran, been at this since about 1999, helping family members, helping folks like you and me. And also, if you have specific questions about Medicare, Krause Estate Plan can help you with that, too. Visit estateplanningpeople.com to learn more about Krause Estate Planning. Visit SaveMomsAssets.com if you have specific questions with regard to Medicare. Regardless, connect with Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts? Make them wider.
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
And why just yellow? Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, you can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 10/31/2024.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has made wishes come true for over 6 decades. Toyland is now open, and we have unbeatable celebration savings throughout the store. Like 20-car Hot Wheels gift packs, $17.99. 40-pound bags of Blaine's brand wild bird food, just $14.99. And save on extra laundry detergent, 4 for $10. Plus, donate a new unwrapped toy to Kids Helping Kids, and we'll match donations up to $250,000. Don't miss Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland celebration, going on now.
Wrapping up the Wednesday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News, Greg and Jessica with you. So 2024 is the year of the wacky food mashup, and I'm all here for this, by the way.
Yeah.
I absolutely. So this was months ago, but Cheez-It joined forces with Taco Bell.
Oh, I do love
And a little
Cheez-Its.
situation on their shell, which
Get
I
your
thought was
own box,
interesting.
Greg.
Of course, Doritos and Taco Bell, right? The Doritos Locos Taco. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
So Doritos is a Pepsi brand. Pepsi is served in Taco Bell
You
restaurants.
got to lick your fingers after the Doritos.
Yes. Use your teeth to kind of etch off that stuff. Cinnabon took the mashups a little too far with its Warheads cinnamon rolls, as if you need to do anything else to sweeten a cinnamon roll from
I don't
Cinnabon.
remember that. Wait, Warheads. Aren't Warheads sour?
The super sour candies, right?
Yeah.
That just
I do
make
not
your face
remember
pucker.
that one.
Well, nevertheless, it's time for another wacky mashup. This would be the music variety mashup, right?
this.
You
This
like
is right up
pizza?
my alley.
You like pizza, Jessica?
Oh, yeah.
You like waffles?
Yeah, don't eat them too much, but yeah. I like hot chicken and waffles. That's become a thing over the last 7 years or so.
How would you like waffles on your pizza?
Waffles on my pizza? Nah.
Available now for takeout and in restaurant. Eggo and Cece's have come together for a chicken and waffles pizza that you can sample at Cece's in restaurant or for takeout. A large is going to cost you $11.99. The giant, more family size, maybe $14.99.
Can you still say Lego my Eggo?
You can if you would like, but you got to make sure somebody hears you.
Hey, Lego my Eggo.
That's right there. So Eggo is no stranger to quirky collaborations that bring its waffles outside of the freezer aisle. And that's why people do this. They want to have you associate their product with something else.
Remember when they had the mini Eggos?
Oh, yeah, those are great. They would
Those
be in
were
like
good.
in
As a
four,
kid.
and then you just toast them, and they would come out.
Yes.
You'd have like 4 waffles, all toasted and ready to rock at the same time. I did like that. So in the last couple of years, Eggo, remember this Eggo-nog? It was this alcoholic eggnog that they came out with.
Oh, what eggnog doesn't have alcohol in it
Well,
if you're an adult?
And then at our Christmas parties, it typically does. They had this Eggo brunch in a sippin' jar. It was a partnership with Sugarlands Distilling. They had waffle-flavored coffees. They had Eggo-themed shoes from the Kellanova brand.
Hey, Lego my Eggo.
And now they've got this chicken and waffles pizza. So Kellogg's and Cece's, which is a national chain. I think they're been around for 15, 20 years maybe. They're partnering, and Eggo waffles are now going to be on top of a specialty pizza near you.
I was just looking this up just to see if there was some reviews. Here's one of the reviews.
Oh, no.
I really want to have this, said one fan. Whoa! I'm not feeling too good about this. That's the best review. That's highlighted right below the headline. I really want to have this, said one fan.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all you got?
That's pretty lackluster.
So to your point, though, chicken and waffles has become a very popular breakfast item.
Yes. So filling.
I mean, very southern kind of thing, but this is now spiked into, insert favorite brunch spot here, right? You do Uncle Wolfie's downtown, you do Cafe Hollander, you can get the chicken and waffles. And maybe more like a decade or so. Popular in certain segments and cultures and whatnot, but not much more widespread. So now they're bringing it to pizza. I am not opposed to the specialty pizza. In fact, I like Ian's. I like when they put potato on their pizza. They have a barbecue pizza where they have potato and pulled pork on it, and it is fantastic. They've mastered the mac and cheese pizza. I would give this a shot, but my guess is that
no,
I wouldn't really like it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I'll try anything, but when it comes to a pizza, I kind of like the basics. I like it spicy. In fact, we made Sunday night, we made a homemade pizza. Love to do that. Kind of started to do that during the pandemic. So I'll just take like a crust at the grocery store. I'm not taking time to make my own crust. Crust at the grocery store, put a little olive oil on it, some garlic salt, some pepper, and then I'll do some fresh oregano just to spice it up, that kind of just random crust from the grocery store. And then depending on what you want to do with it, but I like the basics, either a spicy one or a basil and cheese pizza. I don't need to throw all that other stuff on there.
That's okay. That's all right.
I'm gonna keep it simple.
I'm a big fan of the uni for the reasons you just mentioned. Basil, mozzarella, nice sauce, you're good to go. Neapolitan crust.
Yeah.
But if you want to get your Eggo on with Cece's, you can do it now for a limited time.